I just felt at home just because I'm on the path of riding my destiny. And when you're really close to God and on the path of your destiny, you just feel everything so much more, and you just know what's going to happen ahead of time.
Mike Tyson completely humiliated Jake Paul at the post-fight conference. Jake, in his infinite wisdom and boxing expertise, claimed Tyson needed money. Right, because the man who built a multi-million-dollar cannabis empire is desperate for a paycheck from a YouTube prankster. Brilliant deduction, Jake. It was clear that Tyson had no need for validation from someone like Paul.
I'd just be real bummed out to see Mike get KO'd
Right,
at 58 years old.
60, basically.
Like, what other sport would we let a 58-year-old man compete other than golf?
Right.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, why are we letting this happen?
It's kind of crazy.
And let's not forget the real question here. What on earth made a 58-year-old man, whose body has seen more wear and tear than a used car, think it was a good idea to step into the ring with a guy who believes a right hook is just a viral TikTok trend? Seriously, watching this was like witnessing a train wreck in slow motion. Yet somehow, no one could look away. Where do we even begin with the spectacle that was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Yeah, that's totally Momo right. The worst part, it actually worked. We watched it, talked about it, tweeted about it, and even paid for it. Welcome to the circus, folks.
Mike Tyson is getting back in the ring. He's 58 years old. He's facing off against YouTuber turned boxer, 27-year-old Jake Paul.
Despite facing serious health issues earlier in the year, Tyson agreed to the fight, possibly thinking it would be an easy payday. After all, he was up against a kid famous for doing ridiculous things on YouTube.
We want to, but our opponents don't actually really want to. So it's funny.
Jake Paul, who somehow convinced a massive online audience that he was a legitimate boxer, stepped into the ring looking more like he was auditioning for a role in a real fight club. As the fight neared, fans began asking the unspoken question, is this actually a boxing match, or is it just a glorified pay-per-view comedy special with a few extra bruises thrown in for good measure? There was no way this could be considered a genuine contest. The whole thing felt more like a spectacle than a real fight from the start.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Just when you thought the absurdity couldn't get any better, enter the infamous fight script, a detailed round-by-round breakdown of how the entire spectacle was supposed to unfold. It was all planned out.
Opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement, pushing forward. Immediately, he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style.
Tyson, the ever-predictable pro, starts strong with his classic bob and weave, while Jake plays the underdog, stubbornly pushing forward like the hero of a sports movie. Then, just when it couldn't get more predictable, round 5 arrives and Tyson gets knocked down by a perfectly timed right hook, exactly as the script predicted. Who could have seen that coming? It all played out just as planned.
Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form.
Shockingly, the fight played out exactly like the leaked script. Tyson, looking slower than a dial-up connection, got cut above the eye while Jake's punches kept landing. By the end, fans weren't sure if they had just watched a real fight or paid for a high-budget WWE episode, complete with better lighting and a slightly more believable backstory. It honestly felt like a bunch of pro wrestling writers had been put in charge of a real fight, and somehow, that turned out to be the most real thing about it. As for Tyson, what did he do? Nothing. No fiery rebuttals, no public meltdowns. He stayed suspiciously quiet, almost like he was waiting for the dust to settle or figuring out who let the cat out of the bag.
The number, are we talking 60, 70 million?
I mean, if I were to cash out, yeah, I probably made like an extra like 60 on top of that just from my investments last year, if I were to liquidate it.
Jake Paul's post-fight antics weren't just over the top. They were a masterclass in self-destruction with a megaphone. After his controversial victory over Mike Tyson on November 15th, 2024, Paul jumped on his podcast, casually dropping bombshells like they were sponsored ads.
You know, I tried to give the fight the best fight I possibly could, but when someone's just surviving in the ring, basically, it's hard to make it exciting.
His most outrageous claim, he eased off during the fight because he didn't want to hurt Tyson. Right. A YouTuber turned boxer known for chasing knockouts suddenly decided to play nice. What's next? Claiming he let Tyson punch him to keep things interesting.
It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah, I think that's what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money.
Paul didn't stop there. He went further, implying that Tyson needed the fight for money. That's rich coming from a guy who built his fortune on viral pranks and boxing gimmicks. The backlash was immediate and vicious, with fans and critics alike calling him out for the insult.
When you're already Mike Tyson, who's a multi-millionaire, who doesn't need any money right now whatsoever.
Social media exploded with boxing legends and fans calling out Paul's blatant disrespect. They weren't just angry at his words, but furious at how effortlessly he tried to rewrite reality. His reckless comments didn't just spark outrage. They reignited conspiracy theories about the fight being scripted. Speculation grew that the match was more about creating a blockbuster storyline than actual competition. Paul's nonstop bragging made it almost impossible for anyone to take the fight seriously, fueling even more backlash.
And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy.
If Jake Paul thought he could keep running his mouth without consequences, he was dead wrong. After weeks of silence, Mike Tyson finally snapped, and his response landed harder than any punch thrown in the ring.
Exactly. I started, to matter of fact, thank you. I started Jake Paul off.
But Tyson wasn't done. After weeks of reading accusations and watching the ridiculous fight script spread like wildfire, he finally snapped, verbally at least. In an interview with Fox Sports Radio, Tyson dismissed the rumors with the kind of intensity that could still make opponents flinch. It was a real fight. He practically growled, daring anyone to question whether getting punched 78 times was part of some elaborate scheme.
I don't look at my life as a legacy. Legacy to me means ego. Who the cares about my legacy? I'm gonna be dead soon one day.
Tyson wasn't just angry about the punches, he was furious over how the rumors tarnished his legacy. As a man known for being one of the most feared fighters in history, being reduced to a character in a made-for-TV boxing drama was deeply insulting. His legacy, once untouchable, now carried an asterisk, all because of Jake Paul's relentless pursuit of attention and alleged fight script that seemed like a rejected Rocky sequel.
This fight is not gonna change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good and I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy. Come on.
In a fiery interview with Fox Sports Radio, Tyson blasted the rigging rumors that had haunted the fight from the start. He didn't just defend the fight's authenticity. He went straight for Paul's jugular. "I don't need anybody's money," Tyson declared. Paul's claim of the financial rescue clearly struck a nerve with Tyson, a man who spent decades rebuilding his life and career. Being reduced to a charity case was deeply insulting.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be over.
Tyson didn't stop at finances. He went existential. "I'm going to be dead soon. Who cares about legacy?" He bluntly stated, shocking even seasoned interviewers. It was classic Tyson, raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. Yet beneath the tough exterior, there was a real sense of hurt.
It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be over. Who cares about legacy after that?
Tyson's legacy, fought for after years of personal and professional turmoil, was now under attack by a social media star known for viral clout. Jake Paul may have survived 8 rounds with Tyson, but can he dodge Tyson's legal team? Right now, the gloves are off, and the real fight may be unfolding in a courtroom.
For this fight, you are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend, Mike Tyson, in the ring for the first time.
The fight was meant to be about legacy, or at least that's how Tyson framed it. He revealed that one of the main reasons he took the bout was for his children, hoping they'd see their father as the warrior he once was. But after the fight, the victory fell hollow. Critics wasted no time questioning the decision. Boxing analysts debated whether Tyson should have even been allowed in the ring, given his age, health issues, and admitted memory lapses. Multiple blood transfusions earlier that year only added to concerns. Was this fight truly about proving himself, or was Tyson risking it all in a battle he couldn't afford to lose?
I couldn't really get him to engage me or slip shots and, do something super cool or whatever, but I don't care about what people have to say. They're always going to have something to say, and that it is what it is.
When Jake Paul started running his mouth about easing off during the fight and throwing out rigging accusations, he likely didn't consider the fine print of a possible NDA, if such a contract exists. Jake might have just jammed himself into serious legal trouble. Rumors are circulating that Tyson's legal team isn't taking these comments lightly, and insiders suggest they're investigating whether Paul's reckless remarks about the fight being scripted crossed a legal line. This isn't just about bruised egos, it's about protecting the brand Tyson spent decades rebuilding from the ashes of scandal and financial ruin. Paul's flippant comments could be seen as a serious claim, especially with millions watching the fight live and the stakes at an all-time high. A major lawsuit could be a career-ending uppercut for Jake Paul. Boxing may be a brutal business, but in courtrooms, those hits last longer with interest. If Tyson's team files a case, Paul could face massive fines, a tarnished reputation, and possible bans from future fights. Forget rematches. Jake might find himself battling Tyson's lawyers in deposition rooms instead of the ring.
The fight went to 8 rounds. Mike wasn't trying. The fight wasn't, good enough. It was an unbelievable display between a 58-year-old legend and a 27-year-old relatively young.
The Tyson-Paul showdown wasn't just about age versus youth. It was about legacy versus virality. Tyson's name is etched into boxing history, while Paul's is engraved on a TikTok plaque. But here's the kicker. Thanks to fights like this, the line between boxing and entertainment is disappearing faster than Jake Paul's credibility after his latest podcast rant. After all the punches, trash talk, and eyebrow-raising claims, where does this leave Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? The biggest question still lingers. Was the fight real, rigged, or some strange blend of both? Was it a genuine battle, or a cleverly scripted blockbuster designed to rake in millions and keep fans guessing?